Hey everyone, it's Victoria, and I am watching the sunset. As you can see, beautiful, stunning colors. And as always, I am outside the illustrious, beautiful, fantastic current place of Casa de Cantus in the Carriage House Campbell House Museum. And wow, just look at that. Those clouds, wow, it's so humid. Just stunning. I don't even, the brilliance of the colors, they're coming through pretty good here on this. We had a good sunset last night too, so I'm gonna post a bunch of pictures to my blog. Yeah, it was turned out to be sunshine after the storm in more ways than one. Today I got my COVID results and they were negative, so I'm very happy and I am feeling better. I will confess though, I wasn't horribly sick, but just not feeling well as a whole. Did run a little fever for about 24 hours. Not feeling the best, but now I am like a week and a few days since I actually got tested and finally got my results today, negative. So I am very, very grateful for that. So it's kind of nice to have, this calm after the storm, and to see the sunset just reminds me of that in a lot of ways. Also, today is what I call my second birthday. Is 7 years ago today was my famous, I call it my naval emancipation. And I will post this in a blog too and send the link. But it was and I'm going to show you some beautiful pictures as I talk. 7 years ago today, I had a hernia. I had a herniated umbilical that I had no idea I had. And I got really sick very quickly. Wasn't feeling it at all until I got to the hospital. Where my test results came back and they said, oh, you've got this hernia. And, I was supposed to go in for surgery that night, and they held me because I was in the trauma unit and people came in that were showing, coming in from car accidents and things like that. So, but anyway, so it was really, really lucky, really blessed, because they found out what was going on with me and they got in under my navel, and, they knew there was a blockage there, and they thought, oh, it's just this little golf ball sized tumor. Long story short, they found another tumor under it of necrotic, which is dead tissue, of myomentum, which is the tissue that covers your intestines, and that it was about the size of a cantaloupe. And I mean, a week later when I got home, I was, I got home, I was only in the hospital 4 days because I was really healthy at the time. I was working out, teaching classes. I just retired from teaching. And, but yeah, that I had lost like 20 pounds in a week. So it was a big blockage, let's put it that way. So I am grateful again to be alive. And for me to get the news today is not a surprise to me. That good piece of news that, hey, 7 years ago I could have been dead, and I'm here to see this. And, as much as I hate the COVID situation, I'm grateful that at least, it could be a false negative, but I am feeling a lot better than I was. And certainly if I feel worse, I can always go, they want me to come back, but I'm feeling good. Actually got up, moved around today, ran errands for the first time in a few days, and now I am witnessing this beautiful sunset. And again, it is at the wonderful Campbell House Museum here in St. Louis, and where I'm the caretaker, and I live on the grounds, and I have to confess, it's quite the life. I love it, what I do, and I love being here. And despite all the drama we've had over the last few months, it's been amazing. So I've been here about a year and a half, and it's just, I never, how do I want to put this? I always have inspiration here. Always, always. There's always something, well, either the stories about the family or like this, where the weather is, it's the end of the day and we have these just gorgeous sunsets going on, or, you know, we're rehabbing the house. So today, most of the wallpaper went up in the dining room. So we got a grant to rehab the dining room. So I'm really excited about that. It looks magnificent so far. And I haven't been in the house for, like 10 days or more than 10 days. So I will be excited to get back in the house there when we have the wallpaper done, and then we reopen hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks. So, and of course the new addition, most of the exterior is done on that, and they're working on the inside, and the elevator will be going in a few weeks, and new bathrooms. It's just going to be amazing. So yeah, sunset. Wow, look at that. We had quite the storm come through. There was like tornado warnings in some areas of the region, and there were some trees down and some damage in some other places. But now again, this is after the storm, and just look at those clouds. Isn't that something? And they're pretty much, thinning out, dying out. The storm's lost all its energy, and this is what's left over. Still a lot of humidity in the air. I don't think, I'd be really surprised if we had a rehash storm, but I mean, it could happen. So, hey Melissa, how are you? Shout out to Melissa. Hi. Yeah, look at that. Really beautiful. Now it's going from orange to like pink purple, which is gorgeous. Camera does it pretty good justice, but not quite as it is here in person. So yeah, if you just joined in, I was just talking about how, it was 7 years ago today. I almost died, and I'm still alive. And again, I'll post this on my blog, mysteampunkproject.wordpress.com. And I'm just gonna play out the sunset here. And thanks, Melissa, for listening. I had quite the story. If you rerun it from the front, I'll make sure I'll post it so you can hear everything. But yeah, look at the sunset. Oh, wow. And for those of you who don't know, this is again on Locust, which used to be the fabulous Lucas Place neighborhood. Very exclusive, a little hoity-toity. Wealthy people from St. Louis lived here. This is, of course, the Campbell House is the only original house left from that time period. The Campbells moved here in 1853, and the neighborhood was starting about 1851, and this was the first and last house of the neighborhood. So can you imagine going back to Victorian times and seeing a sunset like this? That'd be awesome. And again, you wouldn't have had these tall buildings around, so you would have seen some really beautiful, amazing sunsets. Wow, I just can't get over this. All the colors. I wish it was showing up a little bit better than this, but still it's pretty nice. Street lights are coming on, and it's quite stunning. Just there's some gold orange and pinks and purples in there. It's quite lovely. The building to the left there is the old YMCA, if you're just joining. And it too is being rehabbed. It's going to be a kind of boutique hotel. They are rehabbing it top to bottom in the original style. And again, this was sort of like the early 1900s. So that building's pretty old too. But if you can imagine, there were other houses right next to the Campbell House that looked just like it. And there were about 3 or 4 of those. And then the other houses that came up, if you go to the further end, were amazing. There were some houses that had double lots that were truly amazing Victorian mansions. One of those we know of for sure was one of the descendants of both Chouteau and Laclede. the founders of our city, some of the founders of our city, the main founders really, and that was Mrs. Maffitt, and she, Julia Shoto Maffitt. I want to say Moffitt, like Little Miss Muffet, but it's Maffitt. And she had a grand house that didn't even last 25, 30 years. And it was about 3 or 4 blocks down. Incredible. We have pictures of it from her descendants that loaned us some, and it's in one of our exhibit rooms upstairs, which is pretty incredible. And they donated a couple objects to the museum, which was really nice. So, yeah, Melissa, I wish they would have saved more of them too. A lot of, even though some of these buildings here, you're looking at 2nd and 3rd generation buildings, meaning, you know, they've been torn down and built over 2 or 3 times. And even those are still old, like the Y needs some major repair. It's like the downstairs was only used for like the last 20 or 30 years. The upstairs has been vacant and, you know, used for storage. And then when the Y moved about 10 years ago, it's been empty since then. So I'm looking forward to the hotel company that's supposed to finish that up. There's a bunch of other buildings down here I would love to see get rehabbed. They're just, you know, it's a few are really like in danger of, you know, being torn down or something's wrong. You know, they're just going to hell. But you can see if they got the right person. This is the time I wish it was a millionaire and just could go through, or billionaire and go through and rehab all these buildings and make them either living or a hotel or something, because they're just beautiful. Now some, of course, have been rescued, which is great. And like Schlafly's is a little bit further down, and there's like a dentist's office and a few other small businesses down here. And of course, some of the nightclubs are open still. But yeah, and I'm still looking at the sunset. Look at that. It's blue and lavender and orange. I love the architecture down here. It's incredible. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to us reopening. Hopefully it's going to be about 2 to 3 weeks. And we're going to have to go by, rules. People will have to wear masks, and we can only take in so many people at a time. And we'll only be doing the first floor, and it'll be $5. So I'm sure the museum will be posting like crazy before that to let you all know when we reopen. And I'm still, wow, the sky has just been, wow, what is such a pretty sunset. I am blown away at how pretty this is. So again, I'll be posting the pictures up everywhere. I'm on Instagram and Twitter too, SP Countess on both of those, which stands for Steampunk Countess. And this is my pro page. I do have another Facebook page, but I ask people to really look at this one just because my other one, my personal page it's getting full, and it does that. And right now, just with the climate that we're in right now with COVID and everything, I'm trying to keep it to just my closest friends and family, and then some steampunk folk that I'm super close to and use for business and network with business and stuff like that. And of course, they're good friends. So, yeah, Melissa, come visit. You have to see this. I mean, especially, I know you're a Halloween girl like myself, so you have to come for the morning tour, which is, we have a kind of a little reenactment of the wake of Robert Campbell. So we have a coffin in the parlor, and we have different people stationed around the home that are with the Victorian Mourning Society, and they talk about post-mortem death photos, and they talk about treatment, first aid that they had at the time, like leeches, and one of the ladies brings leeches, and we talk about their burial plot and Bellefontaine. Not Bellefontaine, like we say here in the Midwest. It's Bellefontaine. And we have a couple reps from them come and talk about the Campbell's burial plot and how all the family members are buried there. So, Yeah, that's and there's limited tickets for that, but it is a great experience. We will definitely be open for that because we're thinking it'll be mid-October when all this is done. So again, super duper excited. And that will be when everything is done. The whole house will be back up. We hope to have I think we're doing a textile exhibit, and that will be ready. And we'll have, of course, we will then be ADA accessible by the elevator. So no more refusing people at the door to not get in. The only thing that they will not be able to see if you are in a wheelchair or unable to use stairs would be the master suite. But otherwise, you'll be able to see almost the whole rest of the house by coming up the elevators. So, yeah, just commenting again on the beautiful sunset. Now it's really starting to die down. So I'm going to stop yammering here in a second. But thanks, everybody, for taking a peek, taking a gander at me, warbling away about this beautiful structure here. The Campbell House Museum at 1508 Locust. And one last look at the sunset. Thanks for watching. And again, I am going to save and post this, and I'll also blog about it. So take care, everybody. Be well, and good night.